here we are live recycling your e-waste. We're at Del Norte Recycling and Transfer Station, 111 South Del Norte Boulevard, 1.4 off of the freeway. That freeway being 101 between 5th and Sturgis. You can find us here, recycle your e-waste all the way up until 9 o'clock this morning, and that's with us, Stick Boy. So it's Spence, Stick Boy with News Talk 1520 KVTA, and Steve Macintosh is with us too. And Steve, you are the general manager of this fine facility, and this is one of the largest facilities of its kind in Ventura County, actually in the country. So tell us a little bit about the facility and what people can do about their e-waste this morning.
Well, first of all, just let me thank you guys for coming out here, Stick Boy and Spence. It's just such a treat to have KVTA.
Thank you for the donut.
KVTA here and to provide you donuts as well.
It's delicious.
Yeah. It was a cold, dark morning. Now it's a really bright, hot morning.
This is a tanning booth as far as it goes for me. I've got everything I can possibly wear plus my 30 block. But let's talk about recycling your e-waste and everything that you do at this facility. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, you know, we take all of the city of Port Huenemi's material and city of Oxnard's green waste, trash, and recyclables in our main facility. And we process that. We either push it into a trash truck off to a landfill, or if it's recoverable or recyclable, somehow we process it and ship it to market, whether it be compost going to farmers or bottles and cans becoming bottles and cans again. We do about 1,000 tons a day for all the jurisdictions and haulers that come in here. But the important thing about today, what we're really emphasizing, is the electronic waste stream, and that's all your computers, faxes, computer monitors, televisions, things that no longer have any life to them that you want to get rid of. The important thing to do with our electronic waste is get rid of it correctly, because it's full of all sorts of hazardous materials. And actually, as of 2004, the state passed a law that said it's now illegal to dispose of your electronic waste in a landfill because of all these hazardous materials in there, primarily lead and mercury, actually, in the monitors and other components. But it comes to us. We ship it off to a recycling facility down in Los Angeles. And they break it down into component parts. They smelt it, meaning they melt all the heavy metals and scoop off the gold off the top. And
does anybody ever ask who dealt it?
Anybody what?
Never.
Anybody ask?
A horrible joke. But when we're dealing with this, what is the amount? Because a lot of people, I think, would be shocked at saying, like, okay, what's the big deal? But when you look at households, before we were just throwing everything into one big hole in the ground, and little by little we've moved across. So percentage-wise, how are we doing these days as a county, as a city, on what should be recycled and what actually is? Do we have some figures on that?
Our throughput here is, again, like I said, about 1,000 tons per day, and we're recovering or recycling about 100 tons, maybe 120 tons per day. With the green waste coming through now, it's up to maybe 200 tons per day. So
how much do you think is going the wrong way for people who aren't properly educated on how the waste should be handled? Because, you know, to this day, a lot of people don't really know blue bin, brown bin, and green bin, what they should do and how they should handle it. So that's why just walking into this room here, all over the walls, a bunch of facts and figures on what we have done and what we need to do.
Right. The vast majority of what's still going to the landfill could be recycled or composted somehow. The vast majority of it. We've done a lot. We've made a lot of inroads. The City of Oxnard's Environmental Resources Division has done a lot of really good stuff educating the community and getting the programs rolled out. But there's so much more that we can and should be doing. Our official diversion rate in Oxnard is somewhere around 65–70%, but there's thousands and thousands and thousands of tons of material that could still go in to a reuse or a recycling program. You asked me a second ago about how we're doing with electronic waste. There's 2.2 million tons of e-waste every year that's generated in the United States, and I think somewhere around 80 or 70% of that is still going into landfills. So the vast majority of that, with all that toxins and hazardous materials, that's still being buried in landfills, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, one, just for the volume, and two, for the poison that it creates when it's improperly disposed of. We're not asking anybody to cut down all this idea that you can't have fun with anything anymore. That's not the point. The point is, once we're done using it, we have to put it into the proper cycle so we make sure that it is handled properly. This has nothing to do with anybody saying you can't do this or that. This just has to follow the chain properly and make sure that we handle everything that's in our houses, our offices, any business, that we handle it properly, and life goes on and we live more securely as far as our environment goes. But then the other offshoot is financially. It's a big bonus.
That's exactly right. And the average household has between 6 and 7 or 6 to 8 electronic items in storage somewhere, in the closet or in the garage, wherever it happens to be, where your dead cell phone or your computer that you no longer use rests. So what we're saying is, bring it down to us here at Del Norte. Let us take care of it for you. Let us get it recycled and do the right thing with it. Keep it out of the waste stream, but also just clear up the clutter in your house. We can help you get rid of all those items that you no longer use or need.
Yeah, I think, what did you gain, about 50 square feet this morning, Stick? You did pretty well with this. And Stick, trust
you're
me,
right.
Stick does not live in the average household.
No, I do not live in the average house. I live in a trailer park, actually, so it's a beautiful world that I live in. But I got rid of gigantic TV, so now my baby Quentin can walk around freely around the house instead of being trapped like he was, even though it worked for a while there. But you're right. I got some acreage now.
Yeah, you got it going on. So monitors, computers, fax machines, printers, televisions, and VCRs. Now, earlier, we did have a call that was pointing more towards the wastes that actually are toxic. So if we can just look at that for a moment here and how people deal with that, because we did have a call into the radio station. When you start dealing with things like paints and oils and all of that that's out of house, car batteries perhaps, just your regular AA, AAA, what do you recommend people do to handle that waste properly?
Come here. It's the same thing.
Same thing.
Bring your electronic waste down here, but also bring your antifreeze, batteries, oil, and paint. We're restricted in the types of hazardous materials we can accept. Our facility here, the buyback facility, actually is classified as an ABOP, which again is antifreeze, batteries, oil, and paint. We can't take pesticides or chemicals under your sink or anything like that, but we can take those other items and we can recycle them safely. The one qualifier on the paint is it has to be latex or water-based. We can't take oil-based paint down here. But all of that's free. Residents of Oxnard and Port Hueneme can come down here and get rid of all those items safely, keep it out of the trash, and we recycle it for them.
Well, excellent work you're doing here. This facility is awesome. And if people think, really, it's awesome, you got to come by and check it out. It's huge. This is a great facility to have right here in the city of Oxnard. And congrats to all the folks. This is another thing. What a huge source of employment this is for the area, too.
That's right. We have 50 local employees here at Del Norte. It's a 120,000 square foot building. Again, processing a lot of material for all of our trash and recyclables. And if I may make a little plug for our green team.
Plug it.
We started processing green waste for the city of Oxnard just on Wednesday of last week. Nice. It's a wonderful endeavor. We're taking all the contamination out of the material and we're getting it ready for a compost facility where we ship it off and it becomes soil amendment for the local agricultural community. But our green team is a group of volunteers that's getting out there in the community and educating at schools or Rotary clubs or whatever function it happens to be, or group. But another piece of that effort, or what the green team's going to be doing really soon here, is walking neighborhoods and letting people know what belongs and what does not belong in their green waste container, so we can clean up that important piece of our waste stream to make really valuable compost, make sure it gets to farms in the best, cleanest state possible.
All right. Excellent work that you're doing here, and we are accepting the waste with the KVTA Morning Show all the way up until 9 o'clock this morning. Stop by. We still have some prizes left, and it's 111 South Del Norte Boulevard between 5th and Sturgis. Can't miss us. We've got the van parked up on the lawn. A lot of people here. A lot of people have brought by. So far, console TVs, Stick. We had a large amount of, I saw a 32-inch here that had to be out of the 70s.
And I'm so glad there's a better meaning for the green team. when I was on the green team, a few
It was
years
a
ago.
different deal.
Yeah, DA was at my door, so this is a much better green team to knock at the door. We'll go over that. We're going to recycle together.
Okay, we're going to do all of that here with News Talk 1520 KVTA. Make sure you get by this morning. This is the day to do it, and we will handle that electronic waste. Just stop by, say hey, and we'll be here till 9 o'clock live. We're going to check out some news right now. Thank you very much for stopping by, Stephen, and we'll see you here throughout the morning, and great work you guys are doing.
Thanks, Spence. Thank you, Stick Boy.
On News Talk 1520 KVTA, let's get to the news, headlines, traffic, stock update.